my friends, it's Billy here. Thank you so much for joining me again this month in the NOW-IST monthly subscription area. I'm so honored to be of service to you, to teach you, to inspire you, to bring your higher moment awareness, to teach you to be more in the present moment. And that happens with being in the higher awareness of the present moment. The time of the day can drag on, and I don't know what time of day it is for you right now, but sometimes it can get late and you can lose your focus and you can lose your energy. But bringing yourself back into the present moment and trying to get out of time is a quick trick to help you get some more energy. And you enter that present moment through breathing. We're going to talk today about approval seeking, but before we get into the teaching, I just want to give you a quick tip, because here it is, we're in the studio with Eric and Christian, and it's getting late and we're doing this video, and I really wanted to, be in the moment and be present with you and know that, yes, you can get tired, you can get fatigued. We've got a long day shooting, but it's always been exciting for me to be in shoots where I get to teach and get to help people and get to inspire people. And I'm inspired, as you can tell. I'm passionate and enthusiastic because it's my heart. I'm giving you the real part of me. There's nothing about this exciting journey of teaching you each month that I find work or hard-fought experiences. I find, the linear time and the chronological time of my day kind of disappears when I'm excited, when you're enthusiastic. Because enthusiasm, the word itself, there's a clue. It comes from the Greek entheos, which means the God within. So you're enthusiastic, you're inspired by that God within you. And the God within me that connects to the now, that God is here and enthusiastic for you. And I'm inspired to serve you today. So let's get cranking. It's up to me to give you some insight, to give you some differentiation in your life, to maybe look at things different. And I'm excited to teach you about a concept that I think is heavy on most people's hearts and on their mind. I know the world. We're about approval seeking. And today is all about talking about approval seeking. Do you seek approval from others? Are you obsessed with what others think about you and what they're talking about you, and you're not even knowing this person and they make a judgment about you? And you walk by and you look at that person, you check them up and down, you make a judgment about what they're wearing, or you feel like their eyes are heavy on you and you're getting judged. I mean, is approval seeking something you're obsessed with? I think in this society, in this world of doing to be, which is just backwards, I think, we focus so much on the doing to be happy, or the doing to be sufficient, or to feel like you're a success. It's not where it's at. I mean, the being, we're human beings. It's said many times, we're not human doings. So why are we doing so much? Why are we working so hard to get the approval of others? If we get a better house, a better job, a better car, a better spouse, a better relationship, if we have a better outfit, our friends, when we go out, are going to think that we're something better. But it's always, the truth in the matter is always connected to what you really are. Because the things in this world are fleeting. They say there's no luggage rack on a hearse. The richest man in the graveyard is not really rich. So why we run into our graves caring about what people think of us? And the approval seeking that we have is kind of an obsession. And I know in my story and my struggle with that has been, being a model for so many years. When I was in high school, I was at a clothing store, and I was just, I think, a sophomore year in high school. And this lady walks in, and her name was Patty, and she owned a successful modeling agency in Spokane, Washington. And God bless her. And she, opened my eyes to a whole different world I didn't think I was going to be part of. She asked me if I'd ever modeled before. And I said, no, but I've been approached before, but I've never done it. She goes, well, would you come down to my studio and let's shoot some pictures? I think you could do well in modeling. So here I am, just about out of high school, a year or two to go in high school, and I start getting work, start getting modeling gigs. And I think, wow, this was my first example of approval seeking, where I thought, okay, here I am in Spokane. My first modeling gig was an underwear campaign. And talk about nerves and talk about approval seeking. Get stripped down to your underwear with perfect strangers in a studio. You find approval to be important because you're so nervous, and you think that this impression, how am I coming across? Can they see my junk? I mean, what is it about? So when it turned out that I got this job, I thought, okay, this is my first gig. I'm a brand new model. What am I going to do? How do I do this? I asked my agent, what am I supposed to do in this shoot? I've never done it before. So they tipped off the other company, that was shooting me, that hired me, that was my first job, and to go easy on me and to not be too hard. He's nervous. So I end up, excuse the pun, I'm going up into this studio in downtown Spokane, Washington. I remember just like shaking, and I was just like, man, I'm gonna be in my underwear, and I don't know these people. Of course, there's 3 women there that are doing the shoot, made me even more nervous. And so I'm in this underwear shoot, and it goes pretty well, and they were being kind to me, and I was just so concerned. I remember this being, part of the approval of this new industry that I'm in. I mean, of course, people seek approval in all areas of their life, from the opposite sex, from the same sex, from your family members, from the society, from your Instagram, your Snapchat, your Facebook. Are people liking me? Are people approving me? I mean, are they giving me enough views? Are they giving me enough likes? Do they care about my message? I mean, we look for approval seeking all the time. I think we've become obsessed with it. And it's unfortunate because it takes you out of the present moment, because you're thinking, well, if I don't get enough likes or enough hits on my site or enough views, I'm not successful. It means if I only got a few, I'm not approved by them, because there's other people have 1 million views and I only have 10. I mean, it's crazy, the approval seeking. But back to my story. So here I am, a young buck, almost buck naked in underwear, and these ladies are having fun with me. And the shoot was like 3-4 hours long, and it was going to be a big full-page spread in a newspaper in Spokane, the Spokesman Review. I think it was for Macy's or Bloomingdale's or one of these companies. Anyway, so it was one of these underwear ads where I'm in my underwear and I'm against this cool-looking backdrop near a window, and it's all kind of moody. And we did the shoot, and I made it through, and I was sweating like crazy. And it flashed back because here we are in a studio, we're shooting these videos for you, and it brings me back to that one moment. And that's why I guess I'm feeling so inspired to tell you this story, because I didn't plan on telling the story. It just kind of came to me through inspiration, because here I am. It's like a trigger almost, like it fired it off in my system. And here I am back in that moment, and I'm really freaked out. But we got through it, and they had adjusted my underwear too many times. It was just kind of weird. It felt awkward that people didn't touch me in that area. It was like, come on, man. I'm a young kid. Don't make fun of me. I'm nervous, but they pulled off the shoot. So at the end of the shoot, this is where the story gets really funny. At the end of the shoot, the lady, turns off some of the lights. There's a couple of spotlights still on, or soft lights, whatever they call them. And she grabs a Polaroid camera, and she has a banana. And she says, hey, could you do me one last favor? My friend, it's her birthday, and she would just crack up if you would let me take this picture. Can you take this banana, and can you put it in the front of your underwear? And can you let me shoot a Polaroid that I put on her desk in the morning and write some funny captions? Says, oh man, I was really sweating bullets then, because I just got through the shoot. I thought, finally, I'm done. I mean, talk about harassment, but being a greenhorn, I didn't know you can't say no. And anyway, so I let him do it. And I put this banana, and I did this funny pose for him, and they took this picture. And I literally, they were cracking up, giggling, and I was just mortified. I thought, man, here it is, my first gig. I don't know if I'm ever gonna do this again. My agent was all excited because underwear jobs pay double, obviously because they have to put bananas down your pants, I guess, or they have to take advantage of you. But anyway, I do this shoot, and I leave the job, and it was kind of my first experience to approval. I walked in, I was so nervous. I mean, I remember being, focused on being a musician and caring if people like my music at that early age in high school and junior high, when I started writing music and playing original music and writing songs and being in plays and sporting events and having to be the best. I remember that approval seeking. But in modeling, it was a whole different level of approval seeking, because you're so judged by your image, how you look, how you are presented in photograph, how you look on the runway. I did a lot of fashion modeling on runways, and I remember everybody had such this attitude of being special, being a model, acting like a model. And approval seeking became, from that point on, like a kind of an anvil and a heavy weight around me. Because in the modeling industry, you always got to be on, you always got to be just right, because you're presenting this image. And approval seeking gets to be like an obsession. And from that day on, I thought, man, this is stressful. This is making me feel like somebody I am not. But being a model and being in an industry and being in a modeling industry, it takes you through, this journey. And I signed on for it because I thought, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be a way to make some extra money. I would love to have nicer things so more people can approve me and have approval of me because I had more things. And I was really stuff sick. My daughter has coined that phrase, and I love it so much. It's in the book. There's a great story in the NOW-IST talking about being stuff sick. And one day we're cleaning out my daughter's room, and she's completely, inundated. Because around the holidays, we like to clear out her room, give away her stuff to less fortunate kids and toys she didn't play that much with, and just pay it forward and help kids out. It feels good. I want her to learn what it feels like to give of your excess, and not only your excess, but to give of the things you like. So one day we're cleaning out her room and says, Daddy, I have so much stuff. I almost feel sick. She says, I guess I'm stuff sick. I thought, that is freaking brilliant, like out of the mouth of babes, stuff sick. And that's how I became. I remember, looking back that day as a model, and then the other jobs that followed that, and how the career started to kind of grow in the modeling business for me. And that big fish, I became kind of a big fish doing TV commercials and a lot of fashion runway shows and print. I thought, wow, I'm starting to become a model, and everything about people's opinion of me and approval seeking became like the backbone of the modeling industry, of course, right? You think it's this glamorous business and there's no work, and it just became this complete opposite. It became this thing that I became obsessed with, and it was always about my hair being just right, my looking just right. I became obsessed with it. And so my daughter teaches me about being stuff sick, and I think back to my life there, and I was stuff sick, but in a different way. I was stuff sick with approval seeking. My stuff and my appearance and the things of this physical world became important to me, more important to me than the heart, more important to me than my soul, more important to me than the things that really matter in this life, the things that don't go away. I mean, the stuff ultimately is what? Food for worms. It's going to be eaten by moths. It's going to disintegrate. The stuff's always going to disappear. There's always going to be something new coming out to replace that stuff. So I decided, that wasn't for me, but I had to learn the hard way. And I think in my modeling journey, the approval of everybody else taught me how to get out of that. But it wasn't until I went to New York and had a traumatic experience there, and how I got caught up in appearances and people's approval of me. And it took me out of my element. And it was the great lesson, the great change that happened to me was of a traumatic moment. So the beautiful thing about tough times is it helps you get tough. And when you have a traumatic thing that happens to you, it teaches you to be patient and to find the grace in this moment. And eventually when you get through this time, you can find the lesson. And that's what I got out of this lesson, approval seeking and how to downplay it and how to realize that the part of me that needs approval is not the part of me that actually exists. So when I'm looking for people's approval, when I think it's important what they think about me and that my identity is wrapped up in them, there's a little clue for you. If you're focused so much on their opinion and not about how you feel and how you feel about yourself, then there's the problem, right? There's a disconnection, because the most important person in your life should be yourself. It should be your opinion of yourself. Because how can you serve others? How can you be there for others if you can't be approving of yourself? I mean, I think, the world is way overplaying this approval thing and this having to measure up with the Joneses thing. And the social media and the websites and the TVs and everything that talks about competing and having to be the best and measure up is taking us out of our authentic selves. And if you can't approve of yourself without getting somebody else's approval to say that you're good, or your thumbs up, or you look great, or you got a like, or you got a confirmation that you're good or you're successful, and you can't feel that way without that, that's a little clue. That's a clue that you're probably out of balance, and that you're staying in a state of mind that's not going to serve you. Because ultimately we're all going to age. We're all going to get older. We're all going to change. And people work really hard to try and fight that process. And my wife has an amazing grandmother. Her name is Loretta. Her name's Perky, actually. Her physical name, her official name is Loretta, but we call her Perky. And we call her Perky because she is a light. And she's 95 right now. And she is amazing because she has aged, of course, and I see time rolling through her. And I think, okay, what's the world think of our dear Perky? If you measure up, everybody, you say, okay, here's a 95-year-old woman, and time has done its number on her. Father Time always wins, right? It's undefeated. It's always going to eventually, we're all food for worms at the end. I mean, it sounds kind of negative to say, but why are we so focused on this? Why are we so focused on this physical being that is eventually going to decay and to get older and go into the earth and recycle and become something else? I know it's kind of scary and morbid to think about, but I want to illustrate to you that the approval seeking lives in time. And it's a moment you might think, oh gosh, I feel good and I won, I ring the bell, and then I'm a success. but that moment's gone to the next thing. You're only kind of as good, in the music industry, you're only as good as your last hit, right? And you're only as good as your next post, or your best post on social media. You know, these hit shows on TV, they're only as good as their best rated show. And there's always this pressure, always getting approval, and always trying to seek out the best and to be the best. And it's a moving target. You never really get to ring the bell, but you actually can ring the bell and you can win. And feeling like a winner in this situation can happen consistently throughout your day. And Perky has taught me that. She's 95, and there's this glow about her. And her son, my father-in-law, Rick, coined that phrase, I think, for her when he was 4 years old. He called her Perky. And you know, it stuck. And so here she is, 95, and we call her Perky because she has a light about her in her eyes. Her eyes, she's 95, but her eyes have a light that it's timeless. I mean, they say your inner body, your soul, your inner body, your spirit never ages. It's always about 20 years old. It's always about this vibrant state of your life. And it's always fresh and it's always alive. But when you start identifying with the approval of other people, and you start working on that physical body and that apparatus that you're trying to fight time, and you start becoming internally focused on the external, then you wonder why stress shows up in your life, and you wonder why the connection to the source that is you, the oneness that is you, the present moment, why are you so caught up in time? Why are you focused on the approval of something that's going to go away? Why would you be so obsessed with this chronological, father time modality that we are in time and space, in physical bodies that are in this world, in this universe, that are, subject to this time, when we know it's not real? I mean, I've said it before, and Muktananda, the great Indian saint, said that which is real never changes. These physical bodies change. And beautiful Perky at 95, she has this youth about her. She's 95. She doesn't look 95. Physically, you might say, okay, she's 95, but if you feel her and you're in her energy and her space, she's 20. She's fresh. Her eyes are light. Her eyes are bright. The light of her soul shines through. And the timeless inner body doesn't age because she's connected to that. Yes, it's physical. Yes, your aches and pains, you get older, it happens. But to connect to that, which is going to go away, and to seek the approval of others, of that apparatus that's going to go away, it's like, why are we so focused on that? But the irony of this whole situation of approval seeking is when you're like my dear Perky and you focus on your light and you see if you can give more and you can be of service and you can not complain and you can have feelings and hopes and aspirations for days to be better and for things to get better even when they don't look good, and you can think from the end instead of about the end, and you can have a focus of being not positive, of being inspired, of being out of time in this present moment. That's where she lives. I mean, yes, she's 95. Time is winning this battle. But when I look at her and I think about how she is gracefully going through this, and that inner body is shining through, and the world might look at this person and think, oh, she's getting old, she's one foot in the grave. It's not close, and not close to making it. You'll be out of time. You're not close to staying in this world and trying to fight against this world. You're never going to win. Father Time always wins, undefeated, right? So why are you going to go up against that? Why don't you, as Perky does, connect to this present moment? She's taught me so much. Every time I see her, and I so much wisdom from our elders, so much wisdom from those that have spent more time on this planet, that I glean and I shine more of that information, that wisdom when I'm with her, because I try to be connected to her in this moment. And I get out of the apparatus and the physicality of it and the wrinkles and the age and the shrinking of the body that happens, and just get in the spirit that is always 10 feet tall. It's always in light. It's always in love. When it comes from that place, it helps me get younger. And when you age, it's coming from a physical world. It's coming from a chronological world. You're in physical time. But to be out of time, to be in the now, the inner body stays younger. And the crazy thing is, and there's studies on this, about meditation, about prayer, present-minded, awareness, present moment awareness, that it makes your physical body age slower. It makes your immunity stronger. It makes dis-ease in your body impossible if you're constantly managing this stress and you're constantly coming back to the present moment and you're connecting with the now and you're connecting with the energy that has no time. Talk about at least arm wrestling father time and trying to win a little bit of father time back, then now is how you do that. You get out of time. And to get out of time means to get out of the physical world. And to get out of the physical world, you can get out of the approval seeking by connecting to the present moment. So many of us get lost in what everybody thinks about us. I'm as guilty as the next person. I mean, even as a NOW-IST, right? This is a new process for me. This is a whole new endeavor. I'm currently a realtor and a property manager and a musician and a father and a husband. And, I love golf. I have all these things I do. But my passion, my great purpose is this. It's to be a NOW-IST. I mean, I love all these other parts of my life and I give them my whole heart. But right now, in this moment, it's you. I'm here for you. I want you to have a better life. I want you to discount the world right now. I want you to realize that you're probably seeking for other people's approval too much. You're probably looking at yourself in the mirror and thinking you're not enough, thinking you're not beautiful enough, you don't look like this magazine, you don't like this movie, you don't look like this person's Facebook post, you don't like this person's Instagram, their Snapchat it looks beautiful because they put all these filters on it to make them look better, right? For more approval seeking, right? So let's connect to what's real. And we know that which is real never changes. And if that which is real never changes, why are we focused on that which is unreal, which is time? And if you really want to fight age, skip all the stuff that it's physical. Go inward instead of going outward, right? I mean, so much, there's an industry, a huge industry, obviously, skincare, facial work, plastic surgery, so many things to get us out of time, to beat time, right? To beat Father Time. We're constantly boxing with Father Time, trying to get him out of our life, aren't we? I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. And the media knows they can monetize on that. And Madison Avenue knows they can make billions of dollars telling you you're not enough, telling you you don't measure up, and you're not going to make it. You're not going to be there, man. You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to keep up with the Joneses because the Joneses are the champs of this. The Father Time and the Joneses, they're best buddies because they have to compete. They have to be in the world. We're not supposed to be in the world or of the world. I mean, Jesus said it best, be in the world, but not of the world. I am in the world, but I am not of the world. That's a clue. Figure out how to get out of the world. Yes, take care of yourself. Look as beautiful as you want, but feel good about yourself. Focus on the good parts of you. I mean, everybody's not the same. Everybody's not here to be a cookie cutter. We're snowflakes, right? We're all individual fingerprints. We're in your identical fingerprints. Are there any identical fingerprints? Are there any identical snowflakes? Very few, right? So why not resonate in that originality that you were made for, that you were to be exactly who you are at this time on this planet? Why not revel in that? Why not, think about that next time you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see? Why not focus on the inner body? Why not focus on the party that never dies and doesn't go away? The infinite now. It's always with you. That's where your focus should be. You should be seeking the approval of yourself first. If you can love yourself, if you can go inward and find out what is it in you that makes you different, what is it that makes you special, that doesn't connect to the world, doesn't connect to the Facebook post and the physical thing and the things that you get measured against in this world, or your job, your family, approval from your family, approval from your spouse, from your mate, from your significant other. We're so caught up, I think, in these things of the world. But I want you, and I want to challenge you to be there for yourself in a bigger way and show up for yourself in a better way and know that the only one who needs to know that you are the best is you. You need to approve of yourself first. Because then when other people think about you, when somebody else gives you their opinion, it's not going to sting so hard. I know it's difficult because I came up in that modeling world. And I came up in that world of having to measure up and having to feel like, if you're not the best, you're the worst. And if you're not first, you're last. And all these crazy things that we put on our families and our kids, that society puts on us. And you need to shirk that. You need to know it doesn't serve you. Love yourself. Connect to yourself. Approve of yourself. That's the only thing that needs to happen in your being. If you want to follow me on this journey, I really want to help you. I want to take you along on this NOW-IST journey. And once again, I've said it in my other, NOW-IST monthlies and other my trainings. It's like, the now, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot. You can go through, read the whole book, all the video series, take each of these monthly, videos and take them to heart. But the reality is, the teaching that you need is right there in front of you. The now. It's right there within you in the room, wherever you are. kitchen table, on your phone, in the car, wherever you are right now. The now is right there with you in the room. I mean, you could take one step in the direction of you, and then you could be connecting to yourself. But it's a shift in consciousness. It's a step in the direction of you. That's where the now is. And approving of yourself is where the now is. And not judging yourself so much. Be nice to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Love yourself. It seems crazy. It seems so obvious. But in this world of approval seeking, the most obvious is obviously not being helped. It's not being offered up because it doesn't make money, right? It doesn't help you sell records or TV shows or t-shirts or handbags or lipsticks or whatever you need. You have to come from, I am enough. I am enough. And when you're enough, and when you love yourself and you're connecting to yourself, you don't care so much about what other people think of you. You don't need their approval. It's important because in the new world, approval seekers are ultimately the villains in most of these stories. The ones that need approval. They're the ones that are seeking for approval. The villain's the one that needs to win. The villain needs to be the one that gets all of the attention and takes people out of their game. And they're the antagonist. And it's my vision and my mission to connect to you in this moment, and for you to connect with this moment and to connect with yourself. Because ultimately, who's with you in that room? Who's with you in that now moment? It's you connecting to the oneness, you connecting to divinity, you being one. The old world school is like, yes, you approve of other people and they approve of you. And the old school tells you about, when you measure up, when you have enough, when you look like the Joneses, when you compete with the Joneses, you're going to make it. You're going to be approved. You're approved of, stamped, approved. We even have rubber stamps that say approved, right? You do a loan, you get approved, approval stamp. So you stamping yourself with that approval, what happens? It's just something else. You need to get rubber stamps over your whole life and over your whole body. Say, I'm approved. I approve of how you look, how you dress, how old you are. I approve of your hair. I approve of your, the color of your skin. I approve of your shoes. I mean, what is this? Do you realize that it's just an endless chase? It's a dog chasing its tail around and around. There's no end to it. Do you know how to end it? Right now. Make a decision. Make a decision to no longer seek approval of others. Make a decision to connect to the present moment. And in this moment, look at yourself. And look at yourself in the mirror, but look at yourself in a different way. Look through the physical being. Look through the physicality of you. And look through your eyes, like I did with my grandmother, with my wife's grandmother, Perky. Look through the eyes to the soul and to your own soul. And love yourself and tell yourself that you are beautiful. And say, I am beautiful. I am enough. I am one. I am now. And you connect to that. You have to practice it. You need to have a new routine. Maybe you have to wake up every day and live in that moment, in that present moment awareness to help you get out of the ritual, the insanity that is this approval-seeking society, this approval-seeking world. I mean, it's easier said than done. Everybody works on it, I think, at some level, but they seem to fail pretty quickly because they're hurt by a crass statement or a harsh, review, or somebody speaks, into you and says, oh, well, you're not this, you're not that, you're not going to be this. How can you do this? It's going to be difficult. You don't look like that. You need to do this. Why do we take them on so much? Because we've been conditioned to take them on. Because you were taught at a very early age the concept of me, my name. You were separate. You came into this world, right? You came into this world, this beautiful being, this baby that showed up, a name was slapped on you, and once you identified yourself with that name, you have an identification. And that identification is then rated in the world and judged in the world. There you are. I am Billy. Here I am, Billy. How does Billy rate in the world? He looks this way, he's this tall, he's this fit or this fat, or he's good at this and not good at that. And we're constantly judging ourselves. But if you step back and that identification went away and fell away, that the form could fall away, we're all the same, we're all one, we're all connecting, we're all seeking love. We want that approval because we ultimately want love. So why don't you just look at people and just imagine their form falling away, and you just see their soul, their oneness just standing there. I love Namaste, because Namaste means the light in me recognizes the light in you, where we are one, the place where we are one. So imagine next time people come up to you and they seek approval, or they give you a critique, or they criticize you, or they say a nice thing or a bad thing. What if you knew that that part of them that was speaking was not the part of them that doesn't die, not the real part of them, it's the physical part that's speaking. It's the physical body, judging their body against your body, right? or your wealth against their wealth, their house, their car, your clothes. I mean, why do we do that? And we're all miserable, right? We're all miserable when we live in that because there's a winner and there's a loser, right? And you're focused on the outcome. You're focused on winning. And if you don't win, you're a loser because we've been conditioned to do that. What if we scratched the record? What if we broke this and started a new paradigm shift where we now look at people and we look at their inner bodies and we don't look at their outer bodies? What if next time you looked at somebody, you looked them in the eyes and you imagine going through them and their physical body just falling away, and the part of them that is in you and is in them, the oneness, right? When you're in the now, you've won, that O-N-E, that oneness that you are in the now. If you recognize that when they're saying a harsh thing to you, or they're criticizing you, I mean, how would that feel differently? When you realize, okay, they're saying this, but it doesn't affect me. Because as Abraham Maslow said, you become independent of the good opinion of other people. That was one of his first rules. Become independent of the good opinion of other people and detach from outcome. And when you've done that, you've become self-actualized. And that's why I'm so inspired by that. I think about that. And when people look at me and they think, oh, you're this, you're that, you're a new author, you're a spiritual teacher, you're this new guy on the scene, right? I mean, you got to do this, you don't have this, you need to become that. What about this? You don't measure it. I don't think of any of that. I honestly don't. Because being a nowist means you get out of time and you get out of the opinion of other people. And yes, it's an ongoing daily thing. And it's something I work on and something I have to make a point of my life so I don't get caught up in approval seeking. I don't get caught up in the world because my focus is being connected to the now, connected to each and every moment that I have on this planet to come from joy, to come from love, to come from oneness, to come from the end. If I want to focus on something, I'm going to focus on the end, and I'm going to do it in this imagination. I'm going to do it in this moment in my imagination. I'm going to connect out of time and out of the approval seeking because I've built my whole life. It seemed from the beginning, it started on this approval seeking path, and then once I had my satori, once I had this flash of enlightenment and learned to become a nowist, that approval seeking started to disappear. It just started to disintegrate. I was up this hill, approval, I got to get to the top of the hill, be the best. And then now I'm kind of descending. I'm ascended, now I'm descending off this mountain, which is this mountain of approval seeking. The pinnacles, right? Oh, if I could be the best. Oh, if I could be the most beautiful and the most successful and the richest and have the most followers and everyone loves me. Right? Where does that come from? It comes from the world. You're here to be in the world, but you don't want to be of the world. As a wonderful teacher said, Jesus said, I am in the world, but I am not of the world. And that's a clue. Those wise words have stood for 2,000 years. And the kingdom of heaven is within you. What does that mean? It means within you is the kingdom of heaven. And in heaven, there is no time. And so you can connect to heaven when you're out of time. So get out of the world, get out of the approval-seeking world and connect to the present moment and get out of time. And then you will win. Because when you're in the now, you have won. N-O-W-W-O-N. When you're in the now, you have won. And that's the myth of the world. The myth of the world is that you have to be in time. You have to do these things in time. You set a goal, you got to go through these steps to get this goal, and in the end, you'll get the goal. And then what? Then your mind's going to say, and your life's going to say, well, now what? There's another goal. What's next? Right? What's next? But when you're in this present moment, there is no time. So why are you connecting so much to what you don't have? Because you're focused on what you don't want, and you're surprised when it shows up. That's a definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. And why are we doing that? Why are we so focused on that? Because I think we're conditioned. So my advice to you is to be in the world but not of the world, as our great teacher once told us. And it's simple. It's simple, but it's easier said than done, right? To be in the now, it's a simple concept, but it's when it becomes a habit, when it becomes a routine, when you can get out of the approval world and get in the present moment, you're going to find it easier and easier to not care so much what people think and not care so much what people say of you. It's like a step-by-step process, but it's a daily process. And once you take that step in the direction of you, and once you know that you are enough, and that in this moment, that's the only power you have, and everything that's ever happened to you has happened in a now moment. And you become a nowist by living in that consistency and that revel in that beauty that is the present moment. And you do it consistently throughout your day, you're not going to be so focused on what people think of you. You're not going to seek their approval. And when they say, great job, or you did it, you're the best, you're going to say, thank you, I'm humbled, I honor that, but know that if you're the best or you're the worst, it doesn't mean that this part of you that is connecting to them has any judgment on it, because we are all one. right? People go through their journey. I mean, as a dad, I'm always concerned so much about my daughter and what's going to happen to her in her life, and worrying about her getting hurt in a sporting activity, or something happening to her, or somebody being mean to her or bullying her. And I think about all these things that could happen, and judgment. I mean, because the schoolyard is tough, and she's very athletic, talented, gifted, singer, performer, athlete, great student. She's a star. But that wasn't what she was focused on. Sometimes she would come home and realize, they were mean to me. They were tough to me today. I don't want to go to school anymore. They're bullying me. Or they're just, they say mean things to me, Daddy, and they judge me. But kids are tough, because kids are usually coming from that training, that, you don't look like this, so, you get judged this way. Or you don't have this, so you don't have this much, so you're not successful. Or you're not the best, and, you got third in this thing, and you got a C. Oh, you're a loser, you failed. And I mean, that is what the world is teaching us. I want to bring on a new paradigm. I want to bring on a shift and get people's attention off of that. And let's focus on the present moment. And from that present moment, we're going to imagine what we want, and we're not going to judge anymore. We're going to live in a different type of environment. But that environment starts with each individual. And it starts with living in the moment, living in present moment awareness. I know I say it over and over again, because I believe repetition is the mother of skill. The more you do things, the more you become regular at them, before they become a practice. I say the present moment, connecting to the present moment, and to be a nowist so often, because people are too caught up in time. They need to get out of time. They need to realize that that's where their strength is. That's when they take their life back. And the approval seeking that you're going to find from other people, and look for other people to say you're great, or you're going to win, or you're the best, or you suck, or you can do better next time, and caring what people think about you is a trap. And I've been in that trap for so many years. And it's my mission now to help people get out of that trap, and to shift their thinking and know that you are enough. And stepping in that direction that is you, and stepping towards yourself, the higher self, the inner self, the now that lives inside you, the power that you have, it's just that simple step. Take that step. That's what I want you to do. That's the first thing I want you to do. When you finish this video, I want you literally to go to the mirror and to stand there and look at yourself in the eyes. And not look at your physical body. Look through your eyes. Take as much time as you need. It sounds weird. And people, my grandmother, my Nana, God bless my Nana, I love her so much. She has inspired me in my whole life. And she passed away years ago, 4 or 5 years ago now. And she taught me so much about loving yourself. And she was 91, and she would, put on her lipstick and put on her makeup, and she would take lipstick and make her rouge out of it, and that was her makeup. And she would say, gray hair, and gray is the color of cement. So she would dye her hair jet black, and she would go every morning down her hall, and she says, Billy, I look at myself in the bathroom mirror, and I say, you are beautiful. I say, look at you, you are beautiful. And she would say, I say that to myself. And she was 91, right? And the world would say, what, you're old, you can barely walk. The world would not approve of this. The world would say, no, this is what society says is beautiful. But she would look herself in the mirror, and I have inspired in this moment to tell you this, because I feel like she is telling me that was the secret to getting out of the world, and getting out of the approval seeking of the world, to look at yourself in the mirror and look through the physical being and the physical apparatus that sits there and stares back at you in the mirror, and to look in your eyes, your own eyes, which they say are the windows to the soul, of course. And you look through there and say, I am beautiful, and I am enough, and I am connected to the oneness that is the truth of who I am. And it's out of time. There's no approval in that. You need to approve of yourself. You don't need to approve of other people. You don't need other people to approve of you. You need to look yourself in the eyes and love yourself. It seems simple. It seems like it's been said a million times. But when was the last time you actually got close to yourself in the mirror and said, you are beautiful. I love you. How crazy. It feels weird to say, doesn't it? It feels almost like vainglorious or weird. But it's uncomfortable, right? And the unknown is where the growth is. I want you to go there. I want you to push yourself. That's the only way you're going to get out of these old patterns and these old worldly trappings of approval seeking, of what the world's trying to pull you down. You have to find out where the masses go and go the other direction. That's the only way out. Your chances are better. The unknown is where the growth is. So next time you're in front of the mirror, starting at the end of this video, I want you to go to the bathroom, to the kitchen, to wherever you have to go, where there is a big mirror, and just look at yourself and imagine that you're gone, like your physical body is gone. And look deeply in your eyes and say, you are beautiful. I love you. You know, I am one. Tell yourself, I am one. I am love. I am love. I am one. I am beautiful. Because that's the name of God, right? I am. I am that I am is the name of God. Tell yourself that. It's the first thing I want you to do. And then I want you to chat about it in the chat roll below this video and let me know how it felt. You know, did you feel weird about it? Was it, I couldn't say it to myself, right? It'd be a test for yourself. How are you? How are you judging yourself? How's the approval seeking of you? Are you your hardest critic? Most people are their toughest critic, right? So if you can tell yourself that. And I want to hear your comments. I'd love, look me up on Facebook, on the chat roll, Instagram. Find me, BillyMandarino.com is my website. If you haven't got the book, The Now-IST, I would love for you to get that book, and I would love to hear about it. Let them reach out to me. Please email me. Hit me up on Facebook. It's my honor to be of service to you. I'm all about being of service, and I hope you know that. I hope you feel that I am here, I am now, I am real. This is not scripted. I'm not reading a teleprompter. I'm speaking with you extemporaneously in the moment, because that's the only way I know how to talk to you. And I have ideas to talk to you about, but they come out fresh. They come out in this moment, because that's what I'm about. I'm going to walk my talk. I have an idea, but then I'm going to speak to you for 45 minutes plus on these videos. And I'm going to share with you what I'm inspired to share with you, because I believe that I am guided. And I answered that great call that is the Now-IST teaching, that is the writing of this book, the producing of these programs, the online training, the speaking. Eventually there will be seminars. It's my great mission to be a Now-IST and to serve you and to guide you back in that direction. That is you. Take that step that is in the direction of you. It's just one step, but let it start with you. A step in the direction of you. Let's start with that one step. And let's do what I ask you to do. Go look at yourself, chat about it with your friends, but most importantly, I want to hear what your experience was, what it felt like. In the chat roll, or hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, tweet about it. I'm on all the social media. And it's my great honor to be of service to you. I'm just so excited for you. I'm happy to be here. Until then, I'll see you next month. But I send love to you, I send peace to you, and I wish you all the blessed. Thank you so much.